brand new Airbus A350 slammed into an airport jet bridge at Shanghai. Here's how a routine docking became a $50 million disaster. On March 22, 2022, a brand new Airbus A350-941, operated by China Eastern Airlines, was completing what should have been a routine arrival at Shanghai Hongqiao International Airport. As ground crews guided the aircraft toward its designated gate, something went catastrophically wrong. The massive jet bridge, the boarding bridge that connects terminal to aircraft, was either misaligned or the aircraft approached on an incorrect trajectory. The A350's wing and fuselage struck the structure with enough force to cause severe structural damage. In just seconds, a standard docking procedure transformed into a $50 million disaster. What made this collision particularly shocking wasn't the speed, it was how preventable it appeared to be. When the A350 began its approach to the gate, everything should have been routine. But somewhere in the coordination between the flight deck, ground control, and the jet bridge operators, the system broke down completely. Investigators discovered that the Aerobridge had not been properly repositioned to align with the aircraft's docking point. As the A350 continued forward at low speed, the wing and fuselage made contact with the fixed structure of the bridge, tearing into the composite materials of the aircraft's body. The damage was extensive, not catastrophic in terms of safety, but economically devastating. What made this failure particularly alarming was that Shanghai Hongqiao is one of China's busiest airports, handling hundreds of flights daily. Yet despite the volume and infrastructure, basic ground coordination failed. Communication logs later revealed confusion about which gate position the aircraft should occupy and unclear directives about when the Aerobridge should be moved into place. Ground crews responsible for visual guidance and bridge positioning were not operating under a unified, real-time coordination system. They were relying on radio checks and visual confirmation that simply didn't synchronize properly that day. This wasn't a freak accident, it was a preventable failure born from procedural gaps and inadequate ground support infrastructure at a major international hub. The damage sustained in this collision was far more severe than the low-speed impact might suggest. The A350's composite fuselage and wing took the brunt of the strike, with the Aerobridge leaving a significant gash along the aircraft's side. Composite materials, while incredibly strong, are also brittle. They don't absorb impact the way aluminum does. Once cracked, the integrity of those composite panels becomes compromised, and repair isn't simple patching. Engineers had to carefully assess the full extent of the damage beneath the surface, checking for delamination and structural weakness that might not be visible to the naked eye. The aircraft was immediately grounded, and what should have been a routine turnaround became a months-long repair operation. The financial toll climbed rapidly, parts, labor, and lost revenue from a modern wide-body aircraft sitting idle at the gate added up to tens of millions of dollars. Investigators dug into what caused the misalignment in the first place. They examined whether the aircraft's autopilot or ground guidance systems malfunctioned, whether crew fatigue played a role, or if ground support equipment had failed to properly position the Aerobridge. They also looked at communication logs between the flight deck and ground personnel. What they found was a chain of breakdowns, no single smoking gun, but multiple procedural failures that converged at exactly the wrong moment. What the Shanghai Hongqiao incident exposed was a critical vulnerability that exists at virtually every major airport worldwide. Modern aviation has perfected takeoff and landing procedures, but ground operations remain surprisingly manual and prone to human error. The collision happened because there was no fail-safe system preventing the aircraft from approaching the gate if the Aerobridge wasn't correctly positioned. Today's leading airports are implementing automated Aerobridge positioning systems that lock the bridge in place and transmit real-time data to pilots. These systems use sensors and ground guidance lights to show pilots exactly where to align the aircraft, eliminating guesswork. Additionally, strict communication protocols between ground crews, marshalling personnel, and the flight deck are now mandatory at top-tier hubs. China Eastern's experience demonstrates that even cutting-edge aircraft like the A350 and premium international airports cannot rely solely on crew vigilance. The answer lies in layered safety systems, positioning automation, visual guidance technology, and redundant communication checkpoints. Without these safeguards, Even routine docking operations carry unnecessary risk. The lesson is simple but vital. Ground safety demands the same engineering rigor we apply to flight operations. So what's the real takeaway here? No one died, but the price tag exceeded $50 million. That's money, aircraft availability, and reputation damage that a world-class airport simply cannot afford. The Shanghai Hongqiao incident proves that even at premium hubs with cutting-edge aircraft, ground operations remain vulnerable. Every collision, no matter how slow, exposes a chain of preventable failures. Stay informed about how airports are tightening their protocols.